Thanks for joining us. You gave me like a bit of a heart attack in the morning, but now you're here, so we can all relax. BJP is leading in 12, Congress is leading in 7, JDS in 3 in Karnataka. Good morning, Aditya Menon of the Quint, who joins us right now. We'll also have Rajan Mahan join us in about 10 minutes. But opening comments, Aditya? Not looking like the total washout that the exit polls had predicted, but or is it? Or do you believe there's too early to tell?
Yeah, sorry, I got caught up. Yeah, exactly. The exit polls, it doesn't seem to be going in that direction. Early leads are often from postal ballots. Postal ballots tend to swing one way or the other, little more aggressively. And mostly, I mean, BJP seems to do better in postal ballots rather than worse. We have only a few state elections where government employees were against BJP did that go against BJP. So I think, yeah, the pattern seems to be going in a direction in that the exit polls probably overstated the BJP's lead in this election, and the India Alliance is not doing too badly. Even if one goes state-wise, Haryana, Rajasthan, even Delhi, there was a lead for India Alliance. So I mean,
Yeah.
not as one-sided.
Not as one-sided. So again, to remind our audience, and I have to keep saying this, right, because a lot of times in the excitement of election coverage, we forget to point it out. These are leads, and as more and more boxes get counted, the leads could swing. So it's early, but it's not unlike an exit poll asking a bunch of people and then extrapolating that to the rest of the constituency. So that's effectively what we're doing. There's someone called Indian Nomad. Um, I mean, you're here giving me gullies, but you're here, and that's a view on my YouTube page. So thanks for that. Let me take you through some more numbers and some more, data that we're getting in. BJP is leading in 4 Lok Sabha seats. Congress is ahead in 5, as per the initial trends in Telangana. 4 Lok Sabha leads for BJP in Telangana. I find very interesting. Mr. Nagaraj, you want to comment on that?
I think 4 may not be a big figure for BJP in Telangana. In 2019, it won 4 Lok Sabha seats with 20% vote share. See, as per the projections made by exit poll, BJP is expected to win at least 11, 12 seats out of 17. So 4 means it may not be a big gain so far. So we have to see. Even if BJP wins 4 seats, it may be retaining its own old position. Nothing more than that.
SP's Sunita Verma is leading over BJP's Arun Goval in Meerut as well. So, Aditya, we were just talking about the leads coming in out of Uttar Pradesh. So, BJP leading in 39, Congress in 6, SP in 22. So, that seems close as well.
It's quite close. I think people didn't even anticipate Congress and SP to get 28 overall, and this is not even the full. These aren't even the full leads. None of the surveys gave in excess of 25 to the SP Congress alliance, and already it's 28. So quite surprising. I think something happened in Uttar Pradesh that I think the exit polls couldn't capture.
Yeah, and it does seem. I mean, there's some interesting things that are happening. So, for example, BJP's Anurag Thakur, Kangana Ranaut is leading. So, Kangana Ranaut might actually be a member of parliament. And for me as a journalist, this is interesting because normally when she says stuff, I would always tell my team, we don't have to carry it. She's just, an actor making statements. Now she's a member of parliament. If she becomes a member of parliament, then we will actually have to cover everything that she says, including getting the first prime minister's name wrong. But she's leading in Mandi, and Anurag Thakur is leading in his constituency as well. But I'm looking at leads coming in according to India Today. India bloc now leading in 194 seats within touching distance of 200. There was not a single exit poll that gave India bloc 200. Aditya?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the maximum they went for India bloc was about 180. I think there was no exit poll which crossed 200, and BJP and NDA was. I mean, there were no exit polls which put them below 300. So it would be interesting, of course, when they cross 300, if they manage to cross 300, that is. There's 70 leads are still more to come. BJP is at 262 right now. Of course, a lot of these leads are going to change as the day progresses. The only initial rounds of counting, I think probably in the second round or first round in most seats. And they might go up till 16 or 20 rounds in many seats. So let's see.
Yeah. So actually, Mr. Nagaraj, here's a question, right? Yesterday, Rahul Gandhi randomly speaking to the press like he does a lot, right? When he's walking, he stops, he just says something, he keeps walking. He said, we will do 295 because this is a Sidhu Moosewala song. And this is a sort of kind of thing that makes people not take Rahul Gandhi seriously. Because he didn't stand there and say, hey, you know what, we've done our own tabulation, we've arrived at this number, we're going to do 295. He said something random like, oh, you remember that song? It's 295. So nobody knows how seriously to take what he says also. But do you think that meeting that the India bloc leaders had actually meant something, where they said that these exit polls are not indicative of what we're finally going to do?
Yeah, see, no, actually, in the face of the hype created by pollsters, see, who are reluctant to look at the other side of the picture, generally they won't take Rajiv Gandhi seriously. They might have taken him with a pinch of salt. But see, ground reality may be different. And apart from that, really, this 2024 election is a struggle for existence, not only for Congress party, not only for the opposition, mainly the regional parties like Telugu Desam Party, BRS, in your home state JDS, then Maharashtra Shiva Sena, then RJD and JDU in Bihar, Punjab Akali Dal. See, all these regional parties have been formed to defend the rights of states in a federal country. But what has happened in the last 10 years is Narendra Modi has played road roughshod with the rights of the states, and also he bulldozed its own regional partners, regional players. But definitely, it is a really great relief for regional parties. I think in Telugu Desam Party also, N.T. Ramarao formed that party to get his pound of flesh from the powers that be at the center at that time during the Congress period.
I had a question for Mr. Nagaraj. Sir, the early leads from Andhra Pradesh, as per India Today, at least say that the TDP is leading in 9 and the YSRCP in 3. Do you think it's too early to say that this is the direction of things to come, sir?
Really too early, Mr. Aditya. Really too early. We should wait. We should wait because still we are thoroughly confused by the kind of climate atmosphere created by exit polls. We'll have to wait and see, because as per my basic understanding, it is subject to scrutiny. Jagan is very still strong in terms of his social engineering, in terms of his welfare politics, and also the alliance between Telugu Desam Party and BJP. See, it doesn't have any basis at all. See, on what basis Naidu walked out of NDA in 2018, and on what basis he returned to BJP now? Is there any commitment from BJP side on special category status, central assistance for capital in Amaravati and Polavaram project? No, nothing. So people are watching. See, I think as Mr. Earlier I said, we'll have to wait and watch before making a comment.
So, okay, we're updating our numbers on the screen. According to India Today, India bloc is now leading in 212 seats. It has crossed 212. NDA is 269. There's a 50-ish seat difference between the two of them, which I must point out is the difference between Yogendra Yadav and Prashant. That was the difference between their predictions. It was like a 50-odd seat difference. That's where we're sitting right now. This is a surprise. It's a surprise. There's nothing else to say. That's the word. A couple of state numbers I want to take you through. In Uttar Pradesh, we told you already, the BJP leading in 39, Congress in 5, SP in 31. So that's 39 for the BJP and 36 for Congress SP. That's close. West Bengal, though, and here's interesting, Aditya. This is India Today I'm reading out of. 22 leads for the BJP, 2 for the Congress, 17 for the TMC. So it actually does seem the exit poll at this, told us that BJP will score better than the TMC in West Bengal. That seems to be true.
It's not in the same extent as probably the Access India exit poll suggested. I think they suggested the TMC will be below 15. But that's not happening here. In fact, in one of the other channels, I was seeing the TMC is ahead by a couple of seats. I think NDTV it was. So, but broadly, I think it's quite clear that West Bengal, BJP, and TMC will be separated by not more than 4-5 seats. And this entire thing of BJP sweeping West Bengal and TMC being below 12 or something, that's probably not happening. Maharashtra, I was just seeing it's quite close again. 19 for the NDA and 16 for the India Alliance. So again, your state of residence is quite close again.
Yeah, me. I mean, these are the 2 states I'm most interested in. Karnataka, which is my home state, and my state of residence and work, which is Maharashtra. Stock market is down on these early trends. The Nifty is down about 2.15% this morning. So is the Sensex, that's down 2%. Remember, it rallied a great deal yesterday after those exit polls. So while everybody, and I spent a decade as a business journalist in this country, so while everybody likes to read things into what the stock market does, you must remember it's just investors making money. So exit polls came, they said Treasury is back, and they're all selling, or they're all like shorting it. So they're making money. That's the stock market's reaction to this morning's first indicators is a tank. The Sensex has gone down 1,827 points. That's about 2.3%, and it appears to still be falling. And we'll go back to that in a bit. A couple of other numbers that I would like to take you through, and for a minute, taking a look at some of the other states. Okay, here's another surprise for both of you. Odisha, BJP is leading in 13 seats, Congress 0, Biju Janata Dal 0. Mr. Nagaraju, is this interesting?
Yeah, see, really, it is very interesting. Naveen Patnaik is really a giant, unquestioned leader in Bihar. See, in the last 25 years, he continues to be Chief Minister of Bihar. During his stint for such a long period, there is a lot of incumbency against Patnaik government, and Congress is out of picture, really. And BJP has been consistently making inroads. And after it broke away from Naveen Patnaik's party BJD in 2009, so BJP is consistently making inroads. So this Odisha Asmita issue has come to the fore with the Pandian emerging as Patnaik's aide, Patnaik heir apparent. So BJP has been making that issue a poll issue.
I had a question for both of you actually. So at least as per India Today in Tamil Nadu, we have 33 leads for the India Alliance, 0 for the NDA, and 3 for the AIADMK. So probably in the Delhi-centered media hype, did we ignore AIADMK and focus too much on BJP's inroads in Tamil Nadu?
Yes, Mr. Nagaraju, that's interesting, because every time I ask somebody about AIADMK, it was all about, but they're split, and Paneerselvam is not getting the kind of attention, and there's OPS. So it normally, it seemed like even if it was an ally to the BJP, it wouldn't actually amount to much. What do you think of the AIADMK?
Sorry, will you repeat that question? Not audible.
Aditya, would you repeat the question, please? I'll just check my own.
So the leads in Tamil Nadu are presently 33 for the India Alliance, that is the DMK and Congress and others, 0 for the NDA, and 3 for the AIADMK. So in the Delhi created media hype, did we ignore AIADMK and focus too much on the NDA's outreach in Tamil Nadu?
See, in Tamil Nadu, basically not only in Delhi, all over the country, Modi's magic on media has been vigorously working. So that is out of sync with ground realities. Ground realities are different, and the Modi's media is working. That is, there is no match. See, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, particularly it is a Dravidian political bastion, and Stalin is still very strong, and BJP snapping its ties with AIDMK, it has become weak. In fact, it is not strong. So actually, it will become mainly two bipolar politics between AIDMK and DMK. Still, the anomaly is there, but still he is set to make any impact in Tamil politics.
We have Saptashri Basak, who's the op-ed editor at Quint, joining us as well. Just reading out some more numbers, Saptashri, before I get to you. Mehbooba Mufti trailing in Anantnag Rajouri Lok Sabha seat. Uttar Pradesh early trends. Okay. Uttar Pradesh early trends, NDA leading in 37 and India bloc leading in 39. So actually, there's like a googly at the end of every message my team is sending me. I'm actually going to ask them to stop and check again, because this is more of a surprise than anyone was expecting. Like this number, I'm assuming will surprise the India bloc also. Saptashi, did you travel during the elections? What did you pick up? What areas of the numbers are you watching closely?
So I mostly travel to Manipur and rest of the a little bit of the Northeast, but because I also do op-eds for the Quint, I'm in touch with a lot of contributors from each state. And I think, so I just came back from the Election Commission's website, which is, I guess, more trustable than some of the news channels. And over there, it appears that BJP is leading in around 20, like, because they are a little behind, but the Samajwadi Party in 26 and the Congress in 6. So it's actually India 32 and NDA 20 or 21 if you take in like RLD. And that really goes against what the exit polls were saying, because again, assuming that we trust Axis My India the most, I distinctly remember Pradeep Gupta saying on TV, he was asked which exit poll are you most confident about and which one are you least confident about. And for most confident, he said UP. He said, I'm most confident about UP, and Axis gave UP somewhere between, somewhere around 67. So things really seem to be going the other way. He said he was least confident about Bengal, but Bengal trends are still pretty unclear. Some are showing BJP 20, TMC 16, some are showing 22, 18, things like that. I also texted a lot of contributors and reporters in UP right now. They are saying, okay, let's wait because gains will consolidate. The leads, consolidated leads will only appear by around 12. But they also do think that India numbers should cross 30. Which is really against everything we heard in the exit polls. And other key states that I am really looking out for, one is of course Karnataka, thanks to the IDNA news network that those two folks who went viral yesterday, throwing an open challenge to all the mainstream media exit polls. And they are absolutely confident that NDA cannot get more than 20 or 18 in the Karnataka Lok Sabha seat. So I am really looking forward to see the Karnataka results. I just found out that Prajwal Ravanna is trailing in Hassan, which is another shock given that Hassan is a JDS stronghold.
No, if we're going, and Mr. Mahan is here, if we're going by shocks, Prajwal Ravanna is not the shock for me. I'm looking at the Times of India website. If you scroll past the graphic, you have star candidates. In star candidates on the Times of India website, Narendra Modi, candidate Varanasi, is trailing
by 6,000, from what I found out just now, by 6,000 votes. But
very early.
Really,
it's early, but I would have not expected him to trail, with anyone. I mean,
with anyone. And the thing with early is that because postal ballots were counted first, and postal ballots usually go towards the government because they are government employees who are voting. And I think postal ballots the postal ballots were finished by around 8:45. So we've only had around 40 minutes of EVMs. And if Narendra Modi is still trailing, then it is quite shocking. But still, I'm not counting on anything. Also, there is a lot of disparity between a lot of news channels. But there is a lot of disparity between a lot of news channels as well, because I'm checking News 24, which is the Chanakya exit poll on the side as well, because Chanakya is another exit poll I think a lot of us often go to. And Chanakya also gave NDA 400, But even 20 minutes ago, they were giving India 265. They have just reduced it to India 255. So that is another trend which is quite like completely reversed to what we saw 3 days ago.
Yeah, so actually, you know what? We have to really hold our horses. And I'm telling the audience also here, let's take a breath, because these numbers are unlike anything anybody has expected. They're really surprising. And so, let's actually pace ourselves down a little bit and go slower, because that is always the wiser thing to do when covering elections, and not basically read into any of this. So, Mr. Rajan Mahan is here. Mr. Rajan Mahan is a very senior journalist, tracked most of North India for a very long time, specializes specifically in Rajasthan. Mr. Mahan, good morning to you. What a
Good
surprising
morning.
lead we're looking at right now.
Good morning, Faye. Yes, indeed. Extremely surprising results. If you remember the exit polls that just came in a few days ago. But if you remember what, most balanced, impartial journalists and impartial observers had been telling us over the past 2 months, then these results are not particularly surprising. In fact, they're in tune with what a lot of our friends from within the journalistic fraternity and activists and political observers had been telling us, that the ground reality is slipping away from the BJP and slipping away quite substantially. And if the trends that we are now seeing will actually hold on. I mean, of course, there is this whole caution that we must use, that this is a very early phase of the counting. These are just initial trends. But if the initial trends are reflecting something, they are
Yeah.
reflecting that the political, landscape in the country is undergoing a major, major change. And let me share with you some details of my own state as we talk. Out of the 25 seats in Rajasthan, which the BJP was hoping to score a clean sweep once again, and that would have been a hat trick, because in the last two elections, the BJP had won all the 25 seats. Let me tell you that right now, as we talk, out of the 25 seats in Rajasthan, the Congress is making a comeback and leading in 10 to 11 seats. They keep going up and down, but roughly around 10 to 11 seats, which is a major comeback, because in the last two elections, the Congress scored a big duck. And now, if they're going into double figures at a time when the BJP is ruling the state, then it reflects a fairly major change. And also, we will be in for very, very interesting times, specifically in Rajasthan, if these trends hold out, I guess, all across. And Faye, I don't know what your current numbers are telling you about UP, but the last time I checked, they were showing leads for 65 seats, and it was the BJP at 35, but India Alliance getting 30 seats. If that happens, I don't think there'll be any way that a political earthquake can be stopped in this country. Fair?
So, okay, so let me take you, see, this is the Times of India website, right? Because now we're just going to scroll down on this website even further, please. And as we scroll down further, there you have it, star candidates. That's what we're looking at. TOI, Amit Shah leading, Narendra Modi in Varanasi trailing. That for me is the big surprise. Rahul Gandhi, Akhilesh Yadav, Shashi Tharoor trailing. Again, remember, Shashi Tharoor is contesting against Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who's really from Bangalore. Although he is Malayali, he's from Bangalore. He's not very connected to the land. It was, everybody was surprised. He felt like a bit of a sacrificial lamb. Looks like not so much. Tharoor seems to be trailing. Smriti Irani is trailing in Amethi. Here, the really confident, Smriti Irani, when she came into this election, she seems to be trailing in Amethi. If we flip further on this, and go for, there is Nitin Gadkari who is leading. Raj Babbar is trailing in Haryana. He's from the Congress. Dimple Yadav is leading. Manoj Tiwari is leading. Rahul Gandhi is leading in Raebareli as well. Hema Malini is leading also. Mehbooba Mufti, like I told you, is trailing in her constituency. For Sambit Patra, we don't have a verdict as of now. Kanhaiya Kumar is trailing in Delhi, in northeast Delhi. Rajnath Singh is leading. Digvijay Singh is trailing. Yusuf Pathan, like I told you earlier, is trailing as well. Ravi Kishan is leading. Arun Govil is trailing. Some surprises here. See, Annie Raja is trailing in Wayanad against Rahul Gandhi. She's a very strong contender of being put up against Rahul Gandhi. This is another surprise here. Annamalai actually, it's not a surprise, it's noteworthy. Annamalai of the BJP in Coimbatore is trailing. And he was sort of the Singham candidate for the BJP in Tamil Nadu. Anurag Thakur is leading. Owaisi is leading. Jiten Prasad of the BJP is, and I was going to say, he just recently switched sides. He is trailing as well. Kangana Ranaut is leading. Let's go back to the main numbers right now. I'll put the main numbers back on our screen. So for me, like I said, the big surprise here is that it shows that Narendra Modi is trailing in his seat in Varanasi against the Congress candidate. Looking at the numbers coming in on the India Today website, it's giving the India bloc 223. Again, which no exit poll had given the India bloc at all. And I'm taking this back for a second to Mr. Nagaraju. But again, at the same time, the NDA is being given 286. So inching towards 300 there.
See, as per the latest trends available, Congress NDA is putting up very close fight with BJP. If this is the case, so it is very difficult for Narendra Modi to make up his losses, who is likely to suffer in battleground states and swing states like Bihar, Maharashtra. See, there was some hope created by exit pollsters that BJP will improve its tally in Andhra Pradesh with the help of the Telugu Party and even in Telangana. See, it is unlikely to realize given the latest trend. See, what is happening is voters are responding in a way that how they are feeling the heat of Narendra Modi's rule in the last 10 years. See, in 2014, he hit the election campaigning saying, promising Achedin. Good days will come. If I will be elected, I will ensure good days. Then clean governance. See, with the help of the anti-corruption campaign headed by Anna Hazare. So in 2019, see, again he came to the electorate with the promise of security. See, airstrikes and Balapu the airstrikes. 2014 again, he has been playing emotive issues, ignoring the basic problems faced by people across the country. See, really, you will be surprised. Recently, Railway Board has given notification for 35,000 jobs. You know, what is the number of people applied for that? 1,25 lakh people have applied for 35,000 jobs. So that is the gravity of the picture relating to unemployment in the country. So in Punjab, you know what is happening. So after the scrapping of 370 article, Pakistan has banned the trade, closed the road route, transport route at Wagah border. So ultimately, 5,000 crore worth trade has been affected. So letting Punjab farmers feeling the heat. In Amritsar area, say tomato, even sapota, and other vegetables also, the market is there in Pakistan. So all that there were no takers for farm produce, and the transporters and Hamali workers, everyone was hit. So unfortunately, these basic issues failed to come up in the election campaigning. Now voters have responded, reflecting these issues, basic issues.
So, just walking you through the numbers right now, if I look at the Election Commission website for Uttar Pradesh, it's giving the BJP 32, SP 31, and the Congress 6. So, effectively, SP Congress together are currently at 37. So, they're 5 seats ahead of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, and that's a surprise. Going back there, that's the Election Commission website. So, reminding our audience, Election Commission website tends to be slower and thereby more reliable also to some extent. So we're going to keep going back to the Election Commission website. And that is what it's looking like for Uttar Pradesh right now. So just taking a minute for Uttar Pradesh because it's so important. Mr. Mahan, uh, this is, I mean, is this a combination in your mind of, like Mr. Nagaraju was saying, farmer issues, local issues, job issues, all of these things sort of playing over the Modi wave that we were talking about up till now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a reflection that the bread and butter issues are returning to Indian politics as the central sort of focus, rather than the emotive issues of Ram Mandir or the scrapping of Article 370, etc., etc. So clearly, the polarizing game, which has helped the BJP over the past decade very, very substantially, is no longer cutting ice with a large section of India's voters. And the fact that the BJP is going down in UP, that's where they won the elections so handsomely in the last two Lok Sabha polls. If they're going down there, there is every possibility that this is now leading us towards a massive, massive earthquake in Indian politics. We could well see a major transformation. And the fact that in Rajasthan, for instance, Faye, you were talking about some of the leading lights who are trailing. Let me tell you that the Lok Sabha Speaker, Om Birla, who's contesting from Kota in Rajasthan and looking to score a hat trick, is actually trailing as we talk by a few thousand votes. And even Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat in Jodhpur is leading, but very, very narrowly. So let's see how the results ultimately will pan out. But to be honest, in the first nearly 2 hours now of counting, it does look like that the BJP is in trouble. Faye?
But okay, so let me ask you this. I'm looking at the leads coming out. Mr. Mahan, this is a question for you, and then I'll take it to the rest of the panel as well. So, according to India Today, NDA, which is BJP plus allies, and we'll go back to those numbers, is leading in 285 seats. And the India bloc is 222. It's close, but technically this would mean if these, and assuming our audience, all of this means if these leads continue. If these leads continue, India has already crossed the halfway mark, Mr. Mahan. So why is this an earthquake?
Well, it's an earthquake because the BJP has been winning and winning very handsomely in the last two elections. Secondly, they've been talking endlessly about Char So Par over the past 3, 4 months. Thirdly, the fact that people thought that Narendra Modi was now such a larger than life figure that no other party had a chance. Uh, that larger than life sort of presence of the prime minister is likely to be diminished quite substantially, even if these results hold out. And of course, if the Varanasi lead, ends up becoming a result, then we are looking at a massive transformation in Indian politics. Even if the BJP ultimately cobbles together some kind of lead and is able to form some kind of a NDA government, this does imply that all other forces are beginning to become strong and relevant once again in Indian politics. That
Yeah.
that Indian politics is no longer going to be just a one-person driven sort of narrative. It is going to get back to normal issues. And do remember that, beyond the bread and butter issues, for instance, that the gentleman earlier was talking about, there are other issues. For instance, the Agnipath and the Agniveer scheme, which in large parts of Rajasthan's, Shekhawati belt in particular, and in many other states like Haryana, even parts of Uttar Pradesh, which send substantial numbers of youngsters to the Indian Armed Forces. If those, it is those kinds of issues that actually connect with the everyday lives of people that seem to be becoming a little more, in fact, far more important than what they were as compared to the polarizing and emotive issues of Ram Mandir and everything else, and the whole demonizing of minorities and Muslims, even Christians at times. So I think we're getting back, even if the BJP ends up forming the government, we are going to then get back to normalcy in Indian politics. We are going to see a much stronger opposition in the parliament, and also nationally, the fact that the Congress at the moment is now on its own getting 100 plus seats. I mean, if the leads hold down, then that's a major a major transformation, to be honest.
Okay, just pointing out also, Aditya, we've got your graphic on the screen. This is from the Quint website. To our audience, the Nifty is down. The Nifty 50 is down 0.79. It's coming back up, which means people are seeing a bottom and starting to buy again. But Aditya, just taking you through your numbers. So we're now looking at the map now for the first time, if you can see it. Any patches there that are surprising to you?
I in fact wanted to bring Mr. Mahan's attention to Badmer. It's not difficult to miss on the map because it's the huge constituency on the west. Others are leading in Badmer, sir. So Ravindra Bhati probably is making his presence felt. I also had a question for you, sir. In Rajasthan, did the BJP make a mistake by sidelining Vasundhara Raje, not accommodating her in any way like they accommodated Shivraj Chauhan?
Well, it does look like that, Aditya, because in Rajasthan, do remember that till the last assembly elections, the BJP played a very clever game. They kept Vasundhara very much in the forefront at every Narendra Modi rally or any other major event that the BJP was organizing. Vasundhara Raje, despite the fact that everyone in the political circles was aware, was not the favorite of the BJP's top brass, yet she was displayed prominently. She was allowed to have a large presence. In this election, however, the BJP didn't consult her on ticket distribution. The BJP's hardly bothered to bring her anywhere in any of the major sort of events that they were organizing, whether it was the Prime Minister's rally or the Home Minister's rally or the BJP President's rally or any other major events that the party was holding. In fact, Vasundhara Raje herself also, the cat and mouse game that they were playing all through 2023 to ensure that those who supported Vasundhara Raje would end up supporting the BJP because there was no clear verdict on Vasundhara Raje and whether she would lead the state and the BJP in the state. This time around, the BJP has had no such comms. They've marginalized her, sidelined her, virtually tried to dump her into political irrelevance. And Vasundhara herself also, this time around, has taken an extreme step. She just did not move out of Jhalawar, her home constituency from where her own son Dushyant Singh was contesting. So she confined herself just there, didn't go out to campaign. And I think if these results pan out in Rajasthan, that the Congress does get into double figures, there will be serious questions. And in fact, Aditya, to come back, if you recall, there were some close some major loyalists and supporters of Vasundhara Raje who actually moved over to the Congress. The Churu candidate, Rahul Kaswa, was the first to move out of the BJP when they dumped him and didn't give him the ticket and hand it over to, the Paralympian Devendra Jhajaria, who's now, trailing quite badly. Also in Kota, where Om Birla is contesting, that's where Prahlad Gunjal, who's a strong Gujjar leader of, the Hadoti belt, he switched over and he's considered a very, very key loyalist of Vasundhara Raje. So some of her loyalists moved away from the BJP and are now contesting and leading as Congress candidates in Rajasthan. And Vasundhara herself confined herself just to Jhalawar. And I think if these results ultimately hold on and the Congress is able to get 10 plus seats in Rajasthan, the BJP will have to admit that the Vasundhara factor, the fact that they tried to completely sideline her and sideline her so publicly, which was almost like a public humiliation for a two-time chief minister, is now coming back to bite the Saffron Brigade in Rajasthan.
Faye? Well, I choose to take it as a compliment. Ashish Sherry says, "इस channel को देख के लगता है कि इंसान बात कर रहे हैं, बाकी channels में नहीं लग रहा है." That's what happens if you watch television.
यहाँ पर इंसान बात कर रहे हैं, वहाँ इंसान बात कर रहे होते हैं.
No, but you know, like I keep pointing out to the audience, we should take a minute, not get too excited because these are still leads. But Aditya, if you would be kind enough to walk the audience through what stage of counting we are at technically, and how much of a technicality number, roughly at about 10 a.m. in the morning, how many rounds do you think would have been completed by now? And how much more this could change? So, you know, so just temper our emotions as to what we're seeing at this point, Aditya.
So, I mean, counting has been going on for about 1 hour and 50 minutes. In most seats, we are in the first round in many seats. In some seats, second or third round. But I have not seen any seat where we have crossed more than the third or the fourth round so far, as at least as per the Election Commission website. Most seats will probably see close to 16 rounds. Bigger seats might see a little more. Smaller seats could get over in about 9 or 10 rounds. So these are initial numbers, but the third round is also a reasonably stable number, at least in some seats where candidates have taken a lead of over 25,000, 30,000, 40,000 in some cases. Those leads are unlikely to change. Constituencies where the leads are about less than 2,000, I think they'll keep switching through the day. So I think that's where we are roughly at as far as the seats are the counting is concerned. I had a question, in fact, for the entire panel. See,
But
we are.
no, one second, Aditya, before you ask your question, I just want to read the numbers on the top of the screen. This is Maharashtra, and only in Maharashtra do we have to write these many numbers because there are so many parties. BJP 15, Shiv Sena, this is Shinde Shiv Sena is at 8. Ajit Pawar, NCP 0. Congress is at 6. Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena is at 9. And Sharad Pawar, NCP is at 3. Go ahead, Aditya.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll first, in fact, ask the Maharashtra question. So clearly, at least as per these numbers, the Uddhav Sena and the Pawar NCP are turning out to be the real thing and not the parties which eventually got the symbol.
Yes, who's the question for?
Anyone. I mean, you are the Maharashtra resident, so in fact, it could be.
So actually, okay, so the number has just been updated as well. And see now, the it says basically Shiv Sena is 10 for Shinde,
Okay.
7 for Thackeray, NCP is 6 for Ajit, and 6 for Sharad. So actually split down the middle. But I
Down.
maintain that in Maharashtra, the party symbols caused a lot of confusion. So they will, you know, it's actually for Shinde and for Ajit Pawar. And Ajit Pawar tends to be a very popular leader himself in Varanasi and in the constituencies that he contests. But there was a lot of confusion about who, you know, and for some people in Maharashtra, especially the elderly people, their party symbol is almost muscle memory, that they go back and just hit that symbol every time without realizing it doesn't belong. So there was a lot of confusion. But having said that, it does seem like the power in these parties have been split down the middle. I was not a Pawar joke, but you know, we like to make those in Maharashtra. The Pawar has been split down the middle, and the power has been split down the middle because they've got 6 and 6 on either side. Mr. Mahan, Maharashtra, interesting to you?
Oh, very interesting. Who's not going to be interested in Maharashtra? Because we've seen such turmoil in the last 2 years in that state, and so much of ugly politics that, I mean, the way the Shiv Sena and NCP were split up, the way, I mean, it's been a completely vulgar sort of power play that we've seen. So now, if we find that A, the Congress is doing reasonably well, and B, the Uddhav Shiv Sena is doing far better than the Shinde Sena, then it does tell you a huge story. And of course, this is the heart of, I mean, what do you call it? The corporate capital of India, or, so Maharashtra, I mean, Bombay. So despite all the turmoil that the Congress saw, and they had leading lights like Ashok Chavan and many others who deserted the Congress. And yet, if the party is doing well, if the alliance that they have had in Maharashtra is holding, not just holding on, but doing quite well, this is one of the states which is a key state, because if the India alliance is able to do well here in Bihar and a number of other states, then that is why we are seeing the national picture that we are actually seeing the BJP going down. But to be honest, Faye, a lot, a lot depends on Uttar Pradesh. Keep your eye very, very closely on that state and what's going on there.
Well, according to the Election Commission, Uttar Pradesh, BJP is leading in 38, SP is leading in 28, and the Congress is leading in 7 seats. On the total
So
numbers,
38 to
and let me,
35.
yes,
So
let me
38 to
also,
35 in UP.
yeah, but it's still close though, and it's swinging. So we don't really know which way. It's a lot closer than we had expected from the exit polls, at least, or from the 62 that the BJP, 62 to less than 20 that it was in the last election. Just pointing out the leads that I was reading out earlier for candidates. Narendra Modi now leading in Varanasi. Shashi Tharoor is now leading in Thiruvananthapuram, although Smriti Irani is still trailing in Amethi. That is a bit of a surprise there. Saptashri?
So I was in touch with a few people from Amethi, and they are not very surprised about this because, according to them, there are 2 reasons. One, Smriti Irani really is not a very visible figure in Amethi, according to them. They say that she only shows up sometimes to campaign, and she only doesn't. She only comes up for some photo shoots, but otherwise, while and the other thing that they say is that she is not very nice to the RSS cadre over there. This is what 2 or 3 contributor friends of mine have told me in unison. That she is not very polite and not very. She does not treat them as like local strong karyakartas, and that is perhaps one reason that there is growing resentment. And the other thing I think is the Congress candidate. All of us were sort of marveling about why KL Sharma was chosen. But my contacts do point out that he has a very, very, very strong local base over there. He has been he is a true insider, like apna ladka jise kehte hain. He is truly like an apna person over there, which is what a couple of people who have traveled there, a couple of people who live there, that's what they tell me. And the other thing that I wanted to say about like what Mahan sir said about a political earthquake, I was just checking that the vote share for last time, to me, like the seats of course matter, but I think what I look at more is vote share. And last time, given that the NDA had around 37%, and then the UPA plus Samajwadi Party plus TMC etc. added up to around 30%, there was like big 7% gap. If that gap comes down to maybe 2% or 1.5%, then I would like to believe that a significant chunk of voters decided to vote against hate. I mean, it's not just unemployment and inflation. I would like to believe that a significant chunk of voters thought and said, "Ki enough of this Hindu-Muslim business." And perhaps the trigger was the Prime Minister's Mangal Sutra remark. Perhaps the trigger was the Prime Minister's Mujra remark or the Prime Minister's remark about Ghusbetiya. But something in them woke up and said, this is not going to work for my politics anymore. It was okay until it was Viksit Bharat. It was okay until it was Ladli Behna. It was okay for all the ration, but this is where I draw the line. So I think that to insinuate that, we will sort of need to really look at the vote share closely. So that is really what I'm looking forward to more than the seats, because the seats for NDA are thoda bahut a foretold conclusion. We just have to see the extent of it. But the vote share is what matters to me. Yeah.
I'm just going to share on the screen the Election Commission's leads for Odisha. And it shows out of a total of 21 seats, BJP is leading in 15. And the Biju Janata Dal, the BJD, is leading in 2. So Naveen Patnaik being routed from his own state, it would appear. Mr. Nagarajan? Aditya? Odisha numbers surprising?
Yeah, and in fact, Odisha also we are having assembly elections in Odisha, and even in assembly elections, it seems that the BJD is taking a beating. The BJP is leading in 29, the Biju Janata Dal in 14, the Congress in 5, and the left in 1. So again, the BJP currently ahead in about twice the number of seats as the Biju Janata Dal. So if, of course, these leads continues, really will be an end of an era. I think Mr. Patnaik was on the cusp of becoming India's longest serving chief minister. He just had 3 months more left before he could break that record. But if the numbers consolidate, I think his 24 years of rule might just be coming to an end. So it's a really huge development. Of course, early leads, most of the seats aren't yet aren't even sending the initial lead so far. But yeah, at least in the Lok Sabha level, of course, a majority of seats have reported, and the BJP is doing extremely well in Odisha. I think this is the one state the BJP was looking to make major gains in, and they seem to be accomplishing that.
Mr. Nagaraju, Orissa now surprising?
See, I think it's a little surprise. Naveen Patnaik is 77-year-old leader, and see,
No
he is.
questions about his health also.
No, yes, his health, and he is not able to hold his mic properly, and he is not able to climb the dais without anyone's help, and he got alienated from the party's rank and file, completely depending on V.K. Pandian, an officer from Tamil Nadu, AS officer from Tamil Nadu, so stoking the self-pride. See, Odisha Smith. So obviously, Odia people are craving for a change, for young blood in Odia politics. That may be the trend. See, we can see, and also see, given this close fight between the NDA and the NDA, India, see, gap is hardly between 50 to 60 seats. See, this reminds me of Revanth Reddy's statement saying that if Congress party will get 90 to 100, we will form the government. So where does he get that strength from? See, he got strength from the undependability of the alliance partners. They may be with NDA today, may shift to India tomorrow, Congress party tomorrow, because now there is only coercion politics, not coalition politics. Coercion. See, partners are getting coerced into NDA. See what we have seen in Ajit Pawar's case in Maharashtra. Earlier, see, there were a lot of corruption allegations against him. After he joined hands with Narendra Modi, splitting from Pawar's NCP, so all his corruption charges were absolved. See, he became clean. So also in our home state, see, this CM Ramesh and Srijana Chaudhary, he was a former minister. A lot of IT cases were there against him. ED raids were there. See, after they joined BJP, so they became clean. So this kind of politics, see, people are getting thoroughly vexed with. And see, my prediction, what I am daring to predict is, if BJP's number will fall or hover around 220 to 30, very difficult to come back to power headed by Narendra Modi. Definitely all these NDA partners will come to Congress party. So that may happen.
Okay, it might be slightly premature to be having that conversation right now, but it's an interesting conversation to have, Mr. Mahaslavi. I want to be careful. I prefer to be very careful with this. The other state I want to share is Kerala, and I'm sharing now Election Commission website, right? Because that's the solid one that we can trust. This is what Kerala is looking like. It's a sweep for the Congress party in Kerala. All that blue that you can see. One for the BJP, and this is the Thrissur seat. The leading Suresh Gopi is leading in Thrissur. The left has a couple of seats altogether, but really the Congress sort of taking Kerala. Interesting results. Saptarshi, I know you have to leave. Do you want to comment on Kerala before you go?
Yeah, just I think this is what all of us had expected. All of us who have been tracking Kerala, or all of us who have been talking to people who are based in Kerala. What was not expected was the exit poll, of course, where Axis said that they will get between 2 and 3, but then they also said that Rajiv Chandrasekhar may not be winning. So then it was pretty intriguing. If I mean, Suresh Gopi is the one who is most expected to win from Thrissur, but if Rajiv is not winning in Thiruvananthapuram, then which two other seats is Axis even talking about? So we had no clue about it. And the other interesting thing was the vote share. Kerala, the Axis gives Kerala a vote share of 27%. Last time it was 13%. So 14% jump will be huge, with the potential to really alter Kerala politics, especially when the elections come up in the next 2 years. And I think this is close to what we were expecting. Hopefully, this is what it stays like. But I also have to just quickly go and update a few numbers. But thank you for having me. I hope to see you again in the evening.
Yes, yes. I
Sure.
hope to see you again. Just taking the audience through our star candidates, some of those leads are changing. Amit Shah still leading, Narendra Modi now leading in Varanasi, Rahul Gandhi leading in Wayanad and in Raebareli, Akhilesh Yadav leading, Shashi Tharoor is now leading in Thiruvananthapuram. He was trailing a while back, but that has been reversed. Smriti Irani continues to trail in Amethi. Nitin Gadkari, Raj Bhavar leading. Dimple Yadav is trailing. Manoj Tiwari is leading. Hema Malini is leading. Kanaya Kumar continues to trail in northeast Delhi. Mehbooba Mufti continues to trail. Digvijay Singh, Yusuf Pathan are trailing. Anil Anthony Pattinam Tita, which is what we spoke about a little while ago, he is trailing as well, which I found is interesting. Also, Annamalai in Coimbatore is trailing. Annie Raja would be trailing, obviously, because Rahul Gandhi is leading in that constituency. Leading Asudin Owaisi in Hyderabad. And I also read one flash that came in. I'm just looking for a confirmation on Prajwal Revana in Hassan now leading in his constituency. Karan Bhushan Singh, who is the son of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, is leading in his constituency. Khani Mori is leading in her constituency as well. Manohar Lal is trailing in Haryana. Manohar Lal Khattar is trailing in Haryana. Omar Abdullah is trailing in Baramulla. Mr. Man, is that surprising? And Abdullah trailing in Kashmir?
Oh, absolutely. That will be quite a big shock in Kashmir politics if Omar were to lose. But I'm sure if these are initial trends in the rest of the country. In Kashmir, things may be a little slower in counting, so we may well be seeing, a very slow process. But if it holds on, then yes, it's a very, very major development in Kashmir politics. But Faye, I wanted to draw your attention towards one fact or towards one factor which most of us have been kind of
Yes.
underestimating. Now, you see, what's happening over the past 10 years is that the entire focus of the BJP and the national media, etc., has been around one towering personality that the Prime Minister of India has been over the past 10 years. What is missed out in the victory that they scored in 2019 is the fact that there was one emotive background that happened because of Pulwama and Balakot. What that has then led to is all of us missing out on the possible anti incumbency against specific candidates in their specific seats. I mean, uh, a lot of BJP Lok Sabha MPs don't really have too many accomplishments or too many achievements to showcase to their voters. And I think once people have already voted twice just for Narendra Modi, one of the factors that may well be now, pulling the BJP down is the fact that a lot of their candidates who they repeated, they have dropped quite a few, but the fact that many who won in the last two elections and are now trailing and trading quite substantially by now does reflect that, in specific seats and specific areas, there was local anti-incumbency against the sitting MPs, and that is going to come and bite them. For instance, to give you two specific examples, if Om Birla actually ends up losing, not only is it a major development nationally that the Lok Sabha speaker loses, but in within the state, what it tells us is that the connect with the local voters was getting reduced. Similarly, the Congress candidate in Tonk Savai Madhopur seat is leading, and Sukhbir Singh Jaunpuria, who was the sitting MP for the last two times, is trailing. So I think this factor is something that most people have not really looked at as closely. But if the BJP actually suffers a strong setback, as the leads and the current the current situation is indicating, whether they ultimately form the government or they actually go out of the government is still, of course, unclear. But if their numbers drop substantially by 60, 70 seats, then it will tell us, and they're already, by the leads, they are losing nearly 50, 55 seats at the moment. So they will have to look back and see how in many areas their MPs really couldn't achieve anything very substantial in the last 10 years. Faye?
Absolutely. Mr. Sharad Pradhan joins us right now, who's going to tell us what's going on in Uttar Pradesh because, quite frankly, none of us can figure it out. So, Mr. Pradhan, I'm assuming only you know. But before I come to you, and I'm going to ask my team to prepare Karnataka next,
Yeah,
just reading out a couple of more leads. Sunetra Pawar, who is Ajit Pawar's wife, is leading in Baramati. Supriya Sule is trailing.
oh,
This is a blow for the Sharad Pawar bloc because they are
that's right.
used to have Priya Sule in parliament. This is a big one. Tamil Sai Soundarajan,
Absolutely.
Chennai South is trailing for the BJP. Tejasvi Surya is leading for the BJP in Bangalore. And I'll come back to more star candidates in a minute. Uh, Prajwal Revana is leading in his seat. In fact, all the three seats that were given to the JDU, they are leading in all three seats. But first, Mr. Pradhan is going to tell us what is happening in Uttar Pradesh.
Well, certainly the most important thing that one is what is visible right now is that the exit polls have been absolutely misleading, and that is important for, I think, important for your viewers also, because they must know that exit polls, as we had all suspected,
Hmm.
are not to be taken without a huge pinch of salt.
No,
And
but
this, the
one second.
trends
So,
at the
okay,
moment.
this is a genuine question. Sorry to interrupt you. It's a genuine question. When you say exit polls were misleading, did people come out of the booth and not tell the truth about who they voted for? Is that what might have happened here?
Well, sometimes it might happen. Yes, they do not come out with, and it's the type of questions that you are asking also matters, and the questions are usually framed in a manner to suit a certain. I'm not saying about all the pollsters, but yes, pollsters who are carrying out a sponsored job, a job under the direction of someone, I am not ready to accept that there is so much honesty and integrity in the manner in which the whole thing is carried out, because it's all about, there's tons of money floating in the name of exit polls, not only for the channels, for the agencies, but also you can see how the market works, goes up and down with the exit
Yeah,
polls. And
yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment the market is going down when the reality is coming out. So
Oh,
there is
so you
lots.
are saying exit polls misled so that people could basically book their profits in the stock market?
I'm pretty sure about that. I have reason to suspect that,
Okay.
because this is what happens, and a lot of people, I spoke to a number of people who are into stocks in Bombay big time. They were
Hmm.
of the view that yes, this happens, and there is so much. That is the reason why when they banned opinion polls, the plea that before the Supreme Court was to also ban the exit polls, and there was some comment made by the Supreme Court also that something needs to be done about it, but that never happened because of, obviously, because of so much pressure, largely from the market, as also from
Hmm.
the channels, because the channels make a huge buck out of it, quick buck
Yeah,
and a huge buck out of it.
that is true.
So
That is true.
that's a matter of fact. So there is no reason in a country like India. I think exit polls need to be banned, like the opinion polls.
For everybody
So
watching
because
our visual right now, if you use the super chat feature, then we can make a buck out of it too. Mr. Rajan Mahan wanted to say something. Go ahead, Mr. Mahan.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Sharad has been saying. Beyond these conspiracy theories, and some of them may well be containing a large grain of truth, I just wanted to point out one other factor, which is,
yeah,
Faye, you began by asking, do people not come out with the truth? And it is quite possible that people didn't come out. I mean, just to be fair to the exit polls, because I mean, if these numbers hold on, it's pretty much clear कि पोल बनाने वालों की तो पोल खुल गई है. The other thing
well
is,
said.
but the other thing that is that's a more serious note, which is
Yeah.
that there has been this prevailing fear factor in this country. We cannot discount that. Over the past several years, most people, when they have to say anything against the ruling dispensation, and it's been a very, very powerful and overpowering kind of a ruling dispensation that we've seen in the last 10 years. So a lot of people, because of the fear factor, will not come out with the truth. As somebody who did television for many, many years and went out into the, grassroots, went out
Yes.
into rural areas in many, many elections, I can tell you that, you have to win the trust of the voter. Even as long as, say, about 10 years ago, it was already a truth that people were not spontaneously and immediately going to come out with the truth of where they are heading in terms of their vote. So people have become far more guarded. And I think the pollsters probably didn't factor this aspect into their calculations, and which is why, I mean, beyond the conspiracy theories that Sharad has narrated so interestingly, and which may very well be close to the truth in many ways. But there's also this prevailing fear factor, which I can tell you is sitting right here in Rajasthan, that has prevailed in a big way, even in a bipolar state like Rajasthan, which has consistently, even in these 10 years, we did see a return of the Congress in 2018. But even in a state which is a bipolar state like Rajasthan, where the Congress does have a fairly strong, substantial presence, even in these 10 years, people are scared to actually come out with their truth. If their truth is about saying, well, we don't like the BJP, or the kind of politics, the kind of hate that's being generated, the polarization that's being attempted in our society, etc., etc., there are a large number of people who actually shy away from coming out with the truth, and which then would lead the pollsters to completely go wrong, as now
Uh,
seems to be happening.
I had a
But
question.
Aditya, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with. Sorry. Please go
I had
ahead.
a question for
Aditya.
Mr. Pradhan. So
Ah,
in Nagina, Chandrasekhar Azad is leading by about 25,000 votes right now.
ah, ah.
BSP is not leading anywhere. So are we seeing a turn in this space, sir?
Well, I've been writing about it, and I've said it on even including Faye's channel earlier, that
Yes.
BSP Mayawati is a spent force, and she has done it on her. She's done it on her own. It's her own doing. The manner in which she went out to blatantly display her love for the BJP, whether it was because of all kinds of pressures of ED and CBI, she's the one, hers is one party, and she is one of the leaders who has been facing a lot of accusations of having made enormous wealth, untold wealth, so much untold wealth that it is very difficult for her to sustain pressures on account of the threats that the government is known to be giving to a lot of opposition leaders. So she had and that had completely surrendered before the BJP. And what made it clearly evident and put a seal on this was her decision to oust her own nephew from whatever positions he was given a few days earlier when she anointed him as her successor and the most important man in the party. And that poor fellow, all he had done was that young boy Akash Anand was blasting the BJP at a public rally, and he was reprimanded for that, and not only reprimanded, punished for that. That sent a message loud and clear that Mayawati is no more what she was, and her party is all about supporting the BJP in various ways. So that sent a message across, and even a section of her own subcaste, which is dominant in the party, which is the Jatavs, they also started drifting away. A large chunk had already gone away because of the Congress campaign telling people that BJP wants 400 chars of power because they want to change the constitution. And by changing the constitution, their intent is to do away with reservations. This message went very down
Yeah.
deep with a large chunk of the Dalit community and the OBCs, and and despite BJP going hammer and tongs, doing every effort to damage this control, they did not succeed because it was very obvious that BJP was only trying to cover up because the 400 pars we want because of this reason was because we want to change the constitution was said by none other than BJP's own top leaders,
In fact,
well-known leaders.
Mr. Pradhan,
Yeah.
I'll just take a minute. We're staying with Uttar Pradesh. What you see on the screen right now is the Election Commission website on Uttar Pradesh. BJP is leading in 37 seats, the SP in 33, and the Congress in 7, which means if you put
It's
the
gone
SP,
ahead.
yeah, so the SP Congress together are actually at 40. Now,
Yeah.
just taking you through that map, the Congress is leading in Raebareli and Amethi. It's also leading in Barabanki and Sitapur. So that central sort of chunk it has held on to. And it has one other lead here for Sadal Prasad in Basgaon. But this is a really interesting and a very close sort of build up for, between these two sides in Uttar Pradesh. Do you expect it to stay this way? Are we looking
Well,
at 40
I
40 ish?
wouldn't be surprised. Of course, this is going beyond expectation. This is going beyond expectation even of the Samajwadi Party, I think, and this shows the strength
Yeah.
of the people. And because BJP's arrogance, BJP, Smriti Irani is trailing in Amethi, which is I think the biggest news of the day so far, because she is the one who was known as the Maharani of the BJP, and her arrogance, her inaccessibility is what has gone against her. And she became most jittery when Rahul Gandhi decided to abandon Amethi and contest from Raebareli. And instead of himself, he fielded a party worker, a ground worker called Kishori Lal Sharma, who had been managing the affairs of the constituency during Rajiv Gandhi's time and subsequently also. So now losing to Kishori Lal Sharma is going to seal Smriti Irani's career. If she had won, if she wins, it is no big deal because she is defeating an ordinary work. It was a great strategy on the part of Rahul Gandhi to have done that, and that made Smriti so jittery that that election became a complete. There was no media focus on Amethi at all, and I am
Mm.
told that Smriti Irani was busy begging the great Godi media to cover her constituency because nobody was going there. Had it been Rahul Gandhi, or she would have got so much media attention, which she got earlier. So, and now it seems that if this is the trend that follows, then it's going to be a big, big defeat for the BJP, and a big slap on the face of the BJP, and
Yeah.
particularly because Smriti Irani's proximity to the Prime Minister, who very strategically, mind you, he did
Mm.
not address a single rally there, which makes it very obvious that he knew which way the wind was blowing.
Oh,
Because otherwise there was no reason why he would not have gone to Amethi.
okay, so a couple of other things for our audience. Check out the Quint website. They have some great graphics going, really easy to understand compared to a lot of the others that I've seen. Aditya and his team working on the Quint website. The market is coming off its losses right now. Profit booking is
Yeah,
happening. So people are buying back right now. And sorry, not profit booking. There's a little bit of buy up. So we found our bottom there at about 9:30, and since then it's coming off those losses. So that's an interesting trend as well. So as soon as it hits, everybody comes in and buys. Everybody's looking at it as an opportunity. We'll go state-wise as well. One of the states that I wanted to look at is the state of Karnataka, and I'll ask my colleague Ira to pop that up on the screen. I'd like your comments, all of you, on Karnataka. But before we get to Karnataka, I have a question from one of our viewers. To whoever wants to answer this question, it's slightly complicated. The NDA currently leading, but not performing at the strength that we had expected it to perform based on the exit polls. What is the risk of defection from its allies, who might have either come in because they're under some kind of pressure, or they come in because they were promised certain political gains? Is there a possibility that these allies will defect back? And could the BJP be using measures to make sure that doesn't happen? Mr. Mahan, go ahead.
Well, Faye, just anecdotal stuff. I had a friend coming in from Hyderabad yesterday. We were having lunch together. And guess what? He was mentioning that if indeed the India alliance was close to forming a government, Chandrababu Naidu gets a handsome number of seats. he's one person that we all have to be very, very closely looking at, because he could well
Yeah.
junk the NDA and move over to the other side. So, there is what we call the bandwagon effect, which is that when people
Mhm.
start seeing that there is a chance of this party or this alliance kind of forming a government, then there are many others who could start moving towards that. So on that note, this whole Chandra Babu Naidu, get somebody to start looking very closely, because he's doing quite well in his state, and which way he's going to go is something which could well decide this entire election at a certain level.
Mr.
That's
Mahan,
Okay?
right.
we've always had career opportunist politicians. What in the South we call kingmakers.
Mhm.
Devagowda was always one of those, right? Nitish Kumar switching right at the end, right now, looking a little despondent himself during some of those rallies with the Prime Minister. Would he find himself in a bit of a sticky wicket?
I think Nitish Kumar, in a certain sense, made the biggest blunder of his life by switching sides at the last stage. Uh, because he was one of the leading lights in trying to bring together this whole India alliance. In fact, if there was any disappointment that people were talking about in him, it was about the fact that the alliance was not willing to project him as the prime minister. And do you remember that I still recall an NDTV sort of Indian of the Year award that was giving away, and I was there, to Mr. Nitish Kumar. So he was called Sushasan Babu. Lots of people in Lutyens, Delhi saw a lot of virtue in him. He has done substantial work in Bihar. I think if there's one politician who will be regretting the most what he did in the last few months, it is possibly Nitish Kumar, who may well have written his own epitaph by switching sides in that late stage and doing it in such a shocking manner, because you can't be the leading lighter of the opposition and then
Yeah.
suddenly somersault in such a big way. I mean, that was like shameful even by the standards of Ayaram Gayaram kind of politics that we've
Mhm.
often seen. And coming back to just one thing that I wanted to add in the context of UP and Mayawati. Remember, a couple of minutes ago, I mentioned about that fear factor. Mayawati, I think, in many ways, is possibly one of the strongest sort of signals, or of how much the fear factor has actually impacted many of India's political class also, who have, of course, got all kinds of shady and dubious corruption sort of scandals hanging around in their cupboard. If she's now going to become politically irrelevant, as it now seems that even the Dalits are. A lot of friends in UP have been telling me that the BSP supporters who've never moved towards the Samajwadi Party are likely to do it in this election. If Samajwadi Party actually ends up doing as well as they seem to be doing in the leads right now, then it means that Mayawati
Yeah.
and her mindset getting completely overwhelmed by this fear factor is something
I,
that's now going to pop.
I want to bring in Aditya Menon. Aditya Menon also has a bunch of other things to do. So before he runs off, there are a couple of things I want to ask you about. One is Karnataka. It's up on the screen. And Karnataka BJP is leading in 17, JDS in 3. These are the 3 that they contested. Congress in 8. This is a walloping for the Siddaramaiah DKC government, who were sounding very confident when they went in, not turning out the kind of confidence in those numbers. So those
Right.
guarantees they had out, the fact that they're running the state government, Mallikarjun Kharge is from Karnataka, poor show in Karnataka for the Congress.
Yeah, but still a gain, because last time the BJP along with Sumanlata, they were at 25, I think, and the
Yeah.
Congress had just one seat,
Just one.
which was DK Suresh's seat. So compared to that, it's a gain. Obviously, not the kind of gain one would expect if you have Mallikarjun Kharge, Siddaramaiah, and DK Shivkumar running things in the state. But it's not surprising either, because BJP has consistently won 17, 18 seats at the national level in Karnataka for a good 2 decades now. And the last election was, of course, a complete sweep almost. So BJP has consistently dominated Karnataka at the national level, irrespective of whether it's in power at the state level or not. I think, yeah, obviously, but a little bit disappointing result for the Congress.
So,
they
okay,
probably would have wanted to enter double digits at least.
Aditya, before you go, I have a quick question for the entire panel. Right, this is what my audience is
Yeah.
also asking. We're looking at the entire numbers right now. NDA 289 or 290. India 223.
Right.
It's sort of hovering in that area for a while now. So here's my question.
Quite right.
At 290, the NDA BJP allies are 18 above the halfway mark. 1-8. Right? At 223, plus remember there are 31 others floating in the environment.
Yeah.
What does this mean? Does this mean that if this continues this way, India is comfortable, it has nothing to worry about, or the fact that the India alliance at this point is holding these numbers, does that pose any sort of threat? And this question is to everyone. Aditya, you can answer first because I know you have to leave, and then I'll ask the rest of the panel. What does this mean at this point?
I think it means that the remote control now lies with two gentlemen, Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu. I think between them they will have close to 25, maybe 30 seats, which would mean that they can either push for a much more moderate leadership at the helm of the NDA. It could mean a more moderate Mr. Modi, or it could mean someone more moderate than Mr. Modi.
Mr.
Uh,
Modi.
so I think that's one thing that might happen. RSS becomes very important now because if BJP's tally is falling by a good 50 seats or 40 seats as it is seeming, I mean, then the RSS does get some leverage in deciding things. That's the second thing. As far as the India alliance is concerned, I think it's still a very outside chance for them. It would require them offering the prime ministership to someone like Nitish Kumar, also offering someone to Chandrababu Naidu, cobbling
I do.
together the Biju Janata Dal. I think they need 20 more seats on their own to be able to do anything of that sort. So if maybe by in another couple of hours, if India crosses 240, then maybe they have a realistic chance. Otherwise, I think we are looking at a more Vajpayee era kind of government with allies holding far more leverage than they did in the last 10 years.
Yeah, very well said. Some questions just
Very well
taking
said.
around. Yes, Mr. Nagaraj, go ahead.
Ah.
1 second, so you're muted. I'm just going to ask. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
As I said earlier, see, coalition partners, it's not it's not a kind of marriage. Even marriage also is not bound to be sustainable. So generally,
If you're not nice to your partner in marriage, there's no guarantee.
marriage is also not subject to sustainable. See, unless Modi gets the numbers to form the government on his own, so there is a very possibility of threat from partner side, from coalition partners. See, they may swing from this side to that side and that side to this side. See, no one voluntarily joins any power center for their own political reasons. As I said, there may be coercion and other benefits also. So that is one thing. And the number falls, there will be some kind of there is a change in internal dynamics of the Congress party and BJP also. See, there were reports that Nitin Gadkari, who is in the election fray in Nagpur, so there were reports that, there were backstabbing efforts from Modi side and Amit Shah to defeat him, because they thought that he is an emerging threat. If numbers drastically fall down, it is a kind of negative verdict against Narendra Modi. See, it is one-man show, as you know. See, all this election we have seen, it is a one-man show. See, 70-page election manifesto of BJP says it is only Modi manifesto. No BJP, no NDA partners. No. There is only one Modi. So out of 70 pages, 55 pages, there is only Modi picture. No one is there. And Gadkari has been removed from parliamentary party board member.
Yeah.
So definitely there will be some kind of change in internal dynamics. And also, as Mr. Aditya said, there is no Vajpayee era in BJP politics. Vajpayee and L.K. Advani are gone. Now Modi era is there. So Advani and Vajpayee, they followed live and let live politics. Here, only live politics, there is no let live. So that is the kind of politics we have been seeing under Modi. So definitely, Modi will not allow others to grow, whether internally or externally. So definitely, numbers will fall below the mark. Definitely, there is a very possibility of the BJP facing threat from coalition partners.
I also
So-
feel the same that they would, if the Modi's numbers fall, as we can see in the trend, then there'll be voices of dissent from within, because there is a huge element which has been keeping quiet because of the fear of Modi's fear, and Gadkari would be the first one to raise his voice, and if there's one voice of dissent, many more follow.
Yeah.
That is the reason what just now Mr. Nagaraja said, that there is this story doing rounds that Gadkari may not be allowed to win from there. There is some conspiracy going. This is a conspiracy theory.
Not only
That
Gadkari,
his election.
not only Gadkari, there is Vasundhara Shinde, there is Aditya, Yogi Adityanath, there is Chauhan in Maharashtra. Many people are there. They are waiting for an opportunity to strike back. So let us see what will happen.
Absolutely, and
Mr. Sanjay
that
Hegde
could change the complete scenario.
Yes, Mr. Sanjay Hegde joins us as well, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. The question that I've asked the panel, Mr. Hegde, is this, that the NDA now, or you can see on your screen, 288, past the halfway mark, but it's not very far past the halfway mark. Does this mean there will be some sort of dissonance among the allies within the NDA, and what is the likelihood of that result?
Well, if you look at the trends and you look at the momentum, the NDA is at 288, but the NDA includes people like Chandrababu Naidu and quite a few of the allies. So if these numbers hold for another hour, I do not expect the current Prime Minister to be back.
Well,
that is the most likely outcome if these numbers hold for another hour.
Okay, so according to
just let me illustrate.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
In our hostels, there used to be big bullies, and everybody would go down to the bully. But one day, suddenly a blanket would be thrown, and everybody would participate in beating the hell out of him. Maybe we are at that moment.
Are we overstating, Mr. Hegde?
I sometimes stick my neck out,
Yes.
but please see the momentum. Please see the way that UP has turned, and also please see that big claim, 400 par. When 400 par doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen by this big a mile, then you must say that the mandate is against the current government coming back. The current leadership coming back. Because just look, whatever the numbers end at, the fact that on his watch, the opposition could gain so many votes and they are looking strong means that that anybody who's smart in the BJP will need a new face. The communists ruled Bengal for a very long time. They got an extra term when they replaced their strongest Jyoti Babu with Buddhadev. So even if the BJP comes back, the current leadership might not if these numbers hold for another hour.
Chandrababu Naidu's party now leading in 15 seats. Nitish Kumar's party now leading in 14 seats, about 30 seats between the two of them, give or take one or two, which means that this could be the interesting, these men could tip the scales in anybody's favor at this point. Mr. Mani, same question to you, you haven't answered. What do you expect will happen? And Sanjay Hegde is saying that we could expect a very different leadership if these numbers hold for another hour. What do you think, Mr. Mani?
Well, yes, I tend to agree with Mr. Hegde, because I think if the BJP is dropping almost 50 to 60 seats. At the moment, they're dropping about 50 seats from their last performance. But there's always a likelihood that they could be dropping many more because the trends in UP are coming out and they're looking quite rosy for the India alliance. So if that happens, then, say I can only share a conversation that I had with a fairly senior BJP leader in Rajasthan, with whom I'm, pretty close friends for a very long time. And I will not reveal the name of the person, but he's pretty senior within the Rajasthan BJP hierarchy. And it was very interesting to listen to him saying that, all of you guys